Hey everybody, welcome to Creative Frequencies. I am your host, Chris Vaglio, and this is the show where we have conversations with creative professionals from all walks of life. So if that kind of stuff is your jam, and then listen to my next guest. Let's rock. So I'm here. I'm ready to talk some shit with Paula.
Let's talk some shit and looking. We're going to talk some shit while looking in.
That's right. That's right. We're going to rock it and we're going to talk some shit all at the same time. I got to know a little bit about Talk Shit with Pig because I'm listening. I listen. I know you started the show back basically at the start of the pandemic. So what would Paula of 2024 tell Paula of podcasting, your podcasting self from 2020? When you started, your first episode was the coronavirus. Cardi B talking coronavirus. What would you say to yourself now?
It's funny how you brought up Cardi B because, that was SEO, but that was the first time I actually used kind of like a snippet of how there's certain sayings Cardi B says that and it was going viral and I used it and then later on I found out, I could be sued for that shit, but I was like, at this point, nobody knows me, so...
You know what? You do it and ask for forgiveness. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I got a feeling Cardi B has much bigger fish to fry, but you know what? Hey, you know what? If she goes after you, could turn it into content.
That's what I was going to say. That would be some good content.
That would be some awesome content. Yeah, then you'd have some real shit to talk about.
I'll be the next Risa on TikTok because I'd make it into a TikTok now and turn it into all from receiving the letter to battling it. But
yeah.
But back to your question, sir. Literally, I would tell Paula of 2022 was stressing about doing this podcast is don't worry about the little stuff, right? I was editing to perfection, like the cough, the everything, which took me like 3 hours. And these days when I hear a cough, I'm like, actually, I like it in there because we are humans, right? We cough. This is how we talk. We're not perfect. So why would somebody assume because I'm on a podcast I should speak proper than how I normally talk? So that, and also I was so worried if I'd ever have guests on my show. I was like, who's gonna want to come to talk shit? But it's funny how when people realize you have a podcast and again, everybody's experience is different. My podcast is called Talk Shit with P. So when I tell people I have a podcast called Talk Shit with P, the first thing you hear is, I want to talk some shit with you. So it has become that I have so many people want to come to my podcast where now I'm like, do you even know what this podcast is about? Like, what do you want to come talk about? It's like, I don't know. As long as I'm talking shit with you, I'm like, it's not literally like we're not really just shit talking. But cool. So I went from being in 2020 worried about if I ever have enough guests or people want to come to my show to now receiving emails and people just filling out the form, finding the form and sending their pitches and their media kits like, I want to be on your show, I want to be on your show. And I'm just like, no.
No. See, now. And
I'm very picky right now.
Now you're gatekeeping. Before you were like, anybody can be on my show. I just need content. I need people to come on the show. Now I'm like, wait a second. You're not past that. See, in 4 years, you're now, velvet rope, right? VIP.
That's the realest shit ever. Because I remember when in season 1, and again, I ended up rebranding my podcast 2 years ago in 2022. I rebranded. But when I started, I was just taking any guest. You have a mental health story. You want to talk about your mental health, whatever it is, bring it on. Come. I was just accepting in variety of mental health, and then you start taking it serious and getting in these rooms, and people are telling you constantly. The first thing I had in the first 2 years of my podcasting was niche down, niching. You gotta niche down. Yeah. I hated it. I was like, I don't even fucking know what I'm doing. Why are you gonna make me niche down?
Yo, who the hell am I even niching down to? I don't even know what I'm doing. I just want a podcast and talk.
I swear, then they're asking me about who's your persona, who is this? I'm like, I don't care. What the hell does that have to do with what? I just want to share stories and have this conversation.
Yeah.
So, but eventually you realize that you do need to somehow niche down or realize what your purpose is or who your persona is. So when I niche down into and turned it into, yes, I still want to share mental health stories and journeys, but I want to focus on creativity because now I'm in this world of creative. I'm building a brand. I am more aware of what I'm doing and what I want it to be. And I've gotten a little cocky, because now the ego is grows like, oh, you're doing this shit,
Oh, yeah.
So I became that person when now people reach out, I'm like, is this on brand with me? Are you really right? Yes, you might have a mental health story, but does it go with what my show is? Because there's a lot of mental health stories. Now I've become more aware and not necessarily gatekeeping, but you gotta protect your brand because that's your baby, right? You can't just
Absolutely.
When we talk about sponsorship and everything, you can't have a sponsorship. You're promoting something that you don't agree with, but you're promoting it on your podcast, right?
Yeah, I mean, I those are all very well said, actually. I mean, and I know we can laugh about it, and it's funny, right? Because you think back where you started, right? Like I went back and I re-listened to your first 3 episodes just to prepare because and I would say if anybody was going to interview me, like go back and listen to my episodes of, whether it's Song Swap Showdown or when the show used to be called Rocket Live, like go back and listen to those episodes because it's like, I'm like all over the place and like even the mishmash of guests, but like, because I just wanted to podcast, I just wanted to talk with people. But, you make a really great point. As you grow and as you learn, and you said a few key things in there, your personal brand, you want to be protective about it. And on top of that, right, as you begin to grow an audience, right, what are the things, what are the stories, what are the people your audience wants to hear from? And plus, what fits in with you, right? So exactly, like when you start out, you're like, hey, I'm going to do anything. It's like being in a band. Like when you first play band, I don't care. I'm going to play birthday parties, backyards, basements, bar mitzvahs, Legion halls, Burger King, parking lots, like whatever. But eventually now you go, well, okay, you start to grow, you learn, and you go, all right, we're not going to do that anymore. Now we're going to, we're going to play proper shows. We're going to get paid for what we're doing. Like you begin to build up, and that's over the course of the years that you've been doing it. That's what you figured out. Like any creator, right? Anybody that starts a project, you start here and where you wind up because you've learned and you've grown. So I would love to know from you, Paula.
One minute. Before we move on, I just want to add something on that. And there's also knowing that I think sometimes some people also end up getting so confused or lost is because they just start shit and they're already quick into the branding and all that.
Right.
So when I started it, I just wanted to do something during the pandemic, right? We were closed. I needed something that to get me out of my mental struggles. And once the world started opening up, I did not invest in any shit. I was recording from my phone on the Anchor app before as Anchor became Spotify for podcasters or whatever it is right now. But I was recording through there. I was self-editing everything. I was like, I'm not going to invest until I see it's something I actually want to keep doing. So once the world opened up and I was still back to my 9 to 5 job, actually I work retail, so I had crappy hours, morning, nights, evenings, whatever. And then still wanting to record and edit and put it out on time and attend events and conferences. That's when I knew, okay, now I really love this. I'm interested in it. Now let's invest. That's why when they suggested for me to rebrand, if I was doing it for fun, I wasn't going to bother rebranding. Like, why the fuck would I rebrand if I'm just doing it for fun and just, like that's a waste of money. So take your time with first knowing if you actually love something before you actually put so much strength into that. That's what I would also tell my 2020 self, like all these little things that we worry about, wait for them first.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think those are all great statements to make because, I mean, it's what you learn along the journey, right? And, the things you do, the sacrifices you make, the time you put into it, but it pays off at the end of the day. So basically, for anybody listening to this right now, if you are kind of in the very beginning stages of starting a podcast or still debating, like, should I do it? Should I not? I mean, I could tell you from both of us, and if you've already listened to what Paul has been saying, is just start it, just do it. Don't overthink it, just freaking do it. Like, you don't need a ton of fancy equipment. As Paula just said, you do it on your phone, man. Like, that's all you really need at the end of the day. If you've got something to say, stories to tell, questions to ask, conversations to have, just do it, just get it out, because you will get better as you go along. That's a guarantee. That is one guarantee, is you will get better as you go along. So don't wait, just do it. And if you like it, great. And if you don't, then stop doing it. I mean, really, it's that easy. It's that easy. So how has podcasting, 4 years into it, how has it changed your life? Like, seriously, like, what have the changes that you have felt from being a podcaster?
Oh my God. First of all, I always knew I was a very confident person, but podcasting brought a whole different confidence in me. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it, because and whenever I say this, people laugh, but I am genuinely a shy person. Like, you see, when somebody is looking at me, or that's why even when I started podcasting, I wasn't doing videos, because I can talk. Like, talking is not an issue, but when people are looking at me, I feel like I start blushing and laughing and doing faces and losing my track. But podcast is somehow is that for me, because I've spoken on stages. Who knew little me would be a speaker, right? I've spoken on stages. I've won a Community Hero Award. I've attended conferences that I am so known out of this world that I'm like, what the hell did I do? And I remember the first time I went to Podfest in 2022 after attending it virtually. And I go to this booth, and I'm introducing myself, talking to the guy. The next guy on the next booth, he hears me, and he comes and he's like, "Did you say you're the host of Talk Shit with P?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh my God, nice to meet you. I've been waiting to meet you." And that was just like, wait, somebody was literally waiting to meet the host of Talk Shit with P. And right now we're collaborating. He's actually making a jingle for Talk Shit with P. It's called Mark Mayer, and he has a podcasting music studio.
Nice.
He makes intros and outros. So the connections it has brought, the networking. I never saw myself at moderate a panel. I got to moderate a panel. I've never seen myself being a moderator in anywhere. I've been moderators in different clubhouse rooms. Mm-hmm. I have hosted podcasting events. I am working on my own personal business because of the strength and the tools I get from podcasting daily and connect. So it has really changed my entire life. Like, it started with the confidence and the trust in myself. Like, even though sometimes, you believe in yourself, you have it in you. But there are people who have been seeing me from year one of my journey in podcasting in 2020 to now, and that's why I love attending these conferences, where when they see me, they see my growth, and it's like that assurance that you need, like, yo, you remember the last time when we were here, you were at this, look at all this shit that you've been able to do. So it's really the confidence that is built in that has made me be able to do all these things and more that I'm planning on doing. I'm finally finalizing my book that I've been talking about, writing a book since I was in high school, but never doing it. And It took podcasting to actually give me the final push. So.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's wonderful. I mean, truly. I mean, it's amazing how something like that happens and kind of gives you the spark, lights the fuse basically, and is the catalyst to get you to where you honestly were probably always meant to be. But it's always those things in life that kind of give you that push, and for you, it was podcasting. And I think you made a lot of great points there, is that, as a podcaster, you do find a certain confidence in talking to people, how to carry yourself, and just how to be social in that way, right? Because, it's always about asking questions, ask questions about people. Don't make it about yourself. And I think as a podcast, that really teaches you how to do that and how to focus and be an active listener, learn and listen about other people's stories. and then be able to share those stories and experiences with each other. And I think that's a really cool thing. And the fact too, and I like that you're saying too, that it also opened up that opportunity to be, you're now speaking, right? You're on stages. Like, that's amazing. Like, there's a lot of people out there that would like to be doing that and just are still in that, like, should I, shouldn't I? How do I do it? I would like to do it. How do I even do it? There's a lot of folks out there that are sort of on the fence and wanting to do those types of things. But, here you are, like, basically something when you go back and you listen to episode 1 of your show, right? Your coronavirus Cardi B in 2020, but look where it's taking you now, right? Did you think that in 2020 you'd be on stages, like talking, going to podcast fests and, people coming up to you and asking you for advice, right? Isn't it great to be able to share your experience with others? Isn't that just awesome?
Oh my God, it's so fucking unbelievable. And by the way, I also want I also am a Guinness World Record holder because of podcasting. So, but I was sitting with Chris recently, right? And we were talking. He was asking me, Paul, how long have you been coming to Podfest? And I was like, I actually started coming to Podfest 2020, end of 2020 when they did VidFest, and then from 2021, 2020 was virtually, and then 2022 in person. And I remember in 2021 they were looking for speakers, and I decided to apply. And I was new at this time. My podcast has started in April. By the way, next week my podcast is going to be 4 years in. But my podcast is
congratulations.
Thank you. My podcast has started in April, and this was in 2020, and this was happening in 2021 February, I believe. So I wasn't even a year in. But my mindset, what I had in my mindset was that I need to learn, now that I'm getting into this creative world, right? I need to learn to hear the words no, because I'm not always going to get the opportunities I want, right? But I know how the creative world is so big. And in my head, the creative world that I'd known was just the artistic side, acting, movie, being actors. So it wasn't...
Right.
And we know that's not as a beautiful world as the podcasting world is compared to collaborations and assistance and all that. So in my head, I was like, I need to prepare for the no's. I need to learn how to get no without giving up and everything. So I was applying to speak, and I chose case study presentation because I didn't have to be on camera. I could do a video recording, a recording or anything and submit. And in my head, I was waiting for a no. So I was like, I'm new. It's a 5-minute case study. I did it. I didn't even pitch it in my best abilities. I was just like, I want them to know there's this girl called Paula out here, even if I get a no or whatever. And I ended up getting a yes. And that's when I was like, fuck shit, now I really have to present. Now, I wasn't prepared for the yes. But that was also a real realization that it doesn't matter how long you've been doing something if you actually know what you're talking about.
Well said. Well said. I hope everybody out there just heard that, because Paula just dropped a serious gem. I'm dead serious though. I mean, you hit the nail on the head with that one.
Because in my head, I was concentrating. I've only been less than a year. My podcast is not that produced. I do everything by myself. I'm learning as I'm going and all this. But then I forgot that what I pitched had nothing to do per se with the podcast, but what the topic was. They're reading, what do you have to offer? What are you bringing? What's your topic about? How is this helping podcasters? And so I got accepted. And that's when I realized that in this world of podcasting, right? Always bet on yourself. And shout out to Dominic, who always reminds this us, because we sometimes think we are less than, but there are people out there who are seeing us as more than. Like, oh my God, I was at Podfest this year and somebody was telling everybody he came to Podfest because of me. He started this podcast because of me. He was telling everybody, Paula is my my mentor. And I'm here like, I'm looking at myself like, how can I be somebody's mentor? Like, I'm still learning this, but somebody else is thinking of me in that way because of, it's not what you know, but how also you offer the people around you, what you offer them, how you help them, how you push them, how you pull them, all those things are.
Yeah, it's to me, being, my transition from business owner of a video production agency for 20 years into making the decision to become, a coach, advisor, consult, whatever you want to call it. But essentially, my thing that I really wanted to do was be able to pass on what I learned running my own creative services business and teach other creative service business owners how to also grow their business, because I knew the struggles I went through. And I feel like I took the hard way around to doing business. I went to school for filmmaking. I didn't know shit about business. I basically, for lack of a better word, I'm what you would call an accidental business owner. Like, I sort of fell into business because I wanted to get to making music videos and films. And so I figured to do that, you had to do this and so on and so forth. But now I get to share what I learned with other creators and say, hey, this is how you build a business. This is how you do things. Like, I'm able now to share my experience and be a mentor to others and give back. And I think for you, it's the same thing. It's like you learned how to do something. You put in the time, by the way. You didn't take any shortcuts. Like, you put in the time. You learned how to do it. You made all the mistakes. You learned from those mistakes. You got better. And now, not only are you a better podcaster, creator, now it's led to speaking. Like, you have now all this experience now that you can share with others, that now you can begin to actually, even in a way too, like monetize, like you were just talking about, like you're now building a business. And that's the way, honestly, listen, everybody, that's the way to do it right there. Like, you just gotta have the will, you gotta have the drive to do it. And yeah, there's going to be always plenty of self-doubt along the way. Like, oh my God, why am I doing this? So why should I be doing this? What qualifies me? But then you just got to go back and look like, well, what qualifies me? I don't know. Maybe the 5 years, the 4 years I put in learning how to do this, that qualifies me.
Yes. And just to add on that, take advantage of all the free courses people offer. Just like Chris here, I want to say thank you because recently you did your course on pricing.
Oh, yeah, pricing. Yeah. How to price yourself.
And I really needed that because, again, I am building my consultation firm and I was stuck in a place where I've never built a business, right? But these are the things that podcasting are pushing me to, like, now, again, it's that ego. Like, now I'm like, I know my shit. People need to pay me for this shit right now. But I like... other people, I really don't want to be a podcast producer. So my business has nothing to do with podcasting, but more on the branding side and gifting, because I'm very good at branding and merchandise and all that crap.
Yes, you are. All that crap, man.
I hate to say it. I hate to say it, but I just can't help it, I'm surrounded with this shit. But
I mean, even your earrings. By the way, for anybody just listening, Paula's holding up all the Talk Shit with P swag, which, by the way, you can get by heading over to our website or following her on social at Talk Shit with P.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it was such a useful because I didn't know how to package, how to price. Sure. Like, you and I don't know if many people are like me when they get into this creative side. This is also something that being a podcaster has taught me first. I learned how to respect influencers because I used to think that shit was so easy until I started getting into podcasting and having to do my own shit. So y'all influencers, kudos to y'all. And for to get to where you have a team that produces amazing things, that means you have earned it, you deserve it. Like, don't let nobody tell you shit, because once I'm getting paid, I'm getting a whole team, because fuck this doing it by yourself.
I'm with you on that. I'm still trying to get a team.
And second is that how I didn't realize how creative I was, because when you think about creative people, you think about these artists, the painters, you don't really think how you as a podcaster, you're already a content creator, because you have to come up with topics, you have to produce them, you have to talk about them, you have to share them. That's content you're creating. So you're already a content creator. So it took me a hard time realizing that now I'm really in this creative spot, right? And most of us creatives, we really don't know how to put the right price, because is it too much? Is it too less? Is it worth it? Like, will somebody actually pay for it? Like, and people out there have a tendency of making content creators feel like they're asking for too much, yet they will go pay these big businesses whatever they ask for something so stupid and ugly as fuck, but because the content creator is a nobody, they don't deserve how much they're asking for. So there's always that part of
it's the game.
So that class was like, oh, I needed this. I'm still struggling because I'm still working on packaging, but it was a right entry to where I fit out. So thank you for that course.
You're welcome.
It really was.
I'm glad that helped. Seriously, I'm glad that helped, because I'm with you. It's not easy to do, and especially when you don't know how to put a value on your own self-worth, which seems weird. You're like, but like I said, it always comes down to, well, what is your experience? What is your knowledge? Like, how much time did you spend accruing that? Like, that's all an investment that you made, and that is worth something, because somebody else didn't make that investment, which is why they want to work with you or hire you, because they need knowledge. They need access to what it is you do, and that's worth something. Otherwise, they could go put in the required, 5 to 10 years of learning how to do something, So it's definitely a thing, and I know creators struggle with it because, listen, like me, I went to school for filmmaking. I didn't go to school for business. Like, I learned business trial by fire, made a ton of mistakes, lots of mistakes, and learned from them, and that's how I learned how to do business. And for most other creatives, that's exactly it. Like, they're doing their thing, they're creating, but business is like not something that people are super familiar with doing. And when it comes to, well, I'll just sell my services, you don't know what to do. You don't know where to start. You don't know how to deal with clients. You don't know how to price yourself. Like, it's a cascade of things, and everybody's going to make mistakes because that's how you learn and get better. But the thing is there's people like me, there's people like you out there that we're here to help. We're here to knowledge. Yes, we have free stuff, but not everything's free, and you have to pay a little bit. So, and that's where, people like us come in to help everybody out there to be better, to help them with their game and cut that time down, cut that learning curve down. Yeah.
So true. And I just want to say, this is me giving you my free consultation from my new business is called Rap Shit with P. People are just like sticking with shit with P. So,
I love it.
And Rap Shit with P, we're going to tell you to hashtag that accidental business owner and put it on a match, because I'll wear a t-shirt that says accidental business owner, because most of us are accidental business.
100%. 100%. But the point is not stay there forever.
You gotta add that to your match.
I really should. You're right. I should do an accidental business owner. I was a former accidental business owner, or I am an actual business owner.
I am accidental right now until my business starts making money. Then I'll feel like I already business owner. But you gotta start somewhere. You gotta
start somewhere. No, you absolutely have to start somewhere, and that's the hardest part is always starting. But just start. And believe me, you will learn as you go. Like we all have. And, you can look at any successful business person out there. I mean, creator, any of it. And everybody starts the same way, man. They all start the same way. Their origin stories are always like, hey, I just decided to do this. A friend of mine, and somehow I got involved, and boom, I was. So, I mean, if you really dig deep on everybody's stories, you'll find everybody shares sort of a common bond and similar theme there. But I do want to, before we wrap it up, I do want to talk a little bit more about the actual podcast, because I do want to make a distinction here, or at least hear it from you. Like, do you consider yourself a mental health podcast, or do you just is that what you consider yourself, or are you more than that?
So I have a hard time with that. When I started, I really started as a mental health podcast, because the first two seasons, I believe 2 or 3 were all mental health. Like I had my sister talk about postpartum in there. I had my brother talk about his drug overdose. I had people who survived cancer. So it was really mental health centered. And right now, like we do talk about mental health, but we mostly talk about the creative journeys, because what I realized was right now I'm jobless. I'm still looking for a job, but when I had a job, it was still paycheck to paycheck while I was still trying to build this dream. And
wait, you mean podcasting doesn't make you millions of dollars? What? What?
I'm rich, motherfuckers. But make it right. But so it's this assumption that I would hear a lot of people who the excuse they use in not starting to build whatever they are is I don't have money or I can't afford it. But then when it's time to go to brunch on Sundays and pop those champagnes, you have money. When it times to buy that Telefour bag that just dropped for $400, you have money. You know, you're on the wait list. You know, so I wanted to change people's mindsets on all these creators that you're seeing. They didn't start with money. Half of them are still like me. I am building while paycheck to paycheck. I'm just choosing like, okay, in this paycheck, we're going to pay these bills. There's 200 instead of Uber eating this week. We're going to get groceries and then we're going to put this towards talk shit with P. And this towards this. You got to do it slowly, right? That's why I tell people, don't wait to do everything by one time. Budget. Like, oh, this month I have this. We're going to get intro and outro fixed. And then next month or even next year, we'll get a new logo or something. Like, you know, you got to work on it. But having no money, that was an excuse that I hated hearing. Yes, there are some people who are lucky because they're way older. They have their savings. They have their 401k. Some people have lots of money. They did well in corporate. Some of us were not in corporate. We're on a different route. Some of us, but it can still be done. So, and also I am that person who hates when people wait for somebody to finally make it. You know, like, oh, now Paula is being interviewed by Oprah. And now everybody's going to say, oh, I know Paula. I went to school with Paula. I saw Paula doing the damn thing. But right now when I'm doing it, way all quiet, silent. So I also wanted to give those creatives their flowers. Like, yo, it's not hard being a creative. Building your brand, building your business, working on your craft. That shit is a lonely journey. It takes a lot out of you. And that's where also the mental health aspect comes. So I want to give you your flowers, but also I want to hear how you deal with your mental health struggles while you're going through this. But mostly, also I want your creative journey. So that the person who's listening thinking like, oh, I don't have money, so I can't start. They can hear like, oh, shit. He literally, this is the framework he did. He was doing this. He was hustling this way. He was taking internships because people bitch on internships. Oh, why should I do something for free? But you're getting the skills. You're learning free skills that if you had to go to school, you'd pay more and be in a class full of other people. While here, you're getting one-on-one from somebody who's actually doing it. And you know, so I just wanted to share this framework. So I don't know if I really consider it as much mental, like compared to my first 3 seasons, because those were deep mental health stories. And this is more creative, but also we incorporate mental health in it. So
yeah, well, I mean, listen, I think that
this is why I don't apply for awards, because I don't know what category my podcast belongs to, right?
It's a talk shit category. They just need to create a new category.
They need to create a category for me, because every time I go down trying to look at mine, I'm like, wellness, education, mental health. I really don't know. Maybe ChatGPT needs to come to help me figure out category.
Yeah, just feed all your episodes into ChatGPT and be like, you know, what genre should I be? what kind of podcast should I be?
all the listeners. So y'all listeners, go check it out and tell me what category or genre do you think Talk Shit with P belongs to. And the best answer will get a one-of-a-kind Talk Shit with P merchandise. I'm just saying.
Whoa, one of a kind.
One of a kind.
Custom.
Yeah. You know, we've been working on our merchandise and we premiered some of them this year at Podfest, the new ones. So right now, most of them, the Talk Shit with P merchandise, are not available to buy. Nobody has them. People are being gifted. Like specifically, you're being picked and getting. Well, right now there's some people who I have in mind that I want to send, but the funds are not funding right now. So shit is on hold. Yeah. But the plan is to kind of surprise a few people with some merch before we actually put them out on the streets, and we're kind of working on new shit. So if you end up finding me a category or a genre that's amazing, you might just get yourself a one-of-a-kind merch. I'm just saying.
She's just saying, folks. She's putting it out there. And by the way, if you guys are looking to sponsor a really amazing podcast, there's actually two right here. You can sponsor this one, and you can sponsor. You can actually do a twofer. So, a twofer. You sponsor two podcasts for the price of one.
One.
And
we will share.
We'll share. Well, and you'll get some free custom merch too. There you go.
We got you covered in Rap Shit with P.
We got you covered. So, all right. Well, Paul, listen, I could talk to you for hours. I really could. We could talk.
Fun.
We could talk a lot of shit. It'd be great. But I do want to wrap it up because I think that as much as people want to hear us keep talking, this just means now I have to come on your show and we could talk a bunch of shit on your show.
Which you are coming.
So so we'll do a part 2 where then I'm on your show and we could bullshit together. How's that sound?
I love that. I love that.
Awesome.
Right now, Shit Happens and Talk Shit with P is on a break, but we do plan on bringing it back either May or June. I'm still, sometimes when I've taken a break from kind of social media and I'm enjoying being behind the scenes and doing shit and not worrying about being in front. Right. So I think I'm getting more relaxed and I'm like, oh shit, time is going. This shit needs to be coming back. So
time to get it back. Well, good. I'll be in the next season, and that'll be I'll be episode 1 of the new season.
Yes, because I'm the first on yours. So
yes, you are.
And by the way, people, for those who don't know, Chris has had an invitation to come on my show. If it's not a season ago, then 2 seasons ago. He has been having a pending invitation. So
it is a pending invite.
So it's not that I've never invited him. No.
I like the disclaimer. No, you are absolutely right. It was a pending invite. It was actually for both me and Amanda, who my co-host of my other show, Song Swap Showdown. But Amanda's tough to get a hold of, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna have to do it. I was trying to be gracious and do it with her, but you know what? I got it.
Unless you tell Amanda you're doing it on TikTok, then maybe.
Then maybe. Well, and she could, and she's got it to follow. She could go live on TikTok anytime she wants. So we'll have to do a live on her TikTok.
So she can help us get our numbers out.
Right. We could all get our numbers up together. Oh, that would be amazing. So, all right, Paul, listen, like I said, we could talk forever, but I'm going to wrap it up. So real quick though, before we do, just let everybody know once again, where can they find, I think at this point you could listen and watch Talk Shit with P anywhere, right? I mean, anywhere you can podcast it and on YouTube as well, if I'm correct, but.
Yes. So you can find me anywhere by Talk Shit with P. And then once you get to talk, especially if you are an Instagram fan, because I respond to Instagram DMs quicker than email or any other shit for some reason. But if you are on Instagram and you find Talk Shit with P, you'll be able to find all my other channels and my links and everything. But if you're not on Instagram, you can find me anywhere at Talk Shit with P. And if you want to send me an email in case you have a genre for me or category for me, you can email me at talkshitwithp@gmail.com. If you are creative, battling mental health, and you want to share your story, we're always looking for guests.
They're always looking for guests, but there's a criteria and there's a velvet rope. So
your energy must match, and you must navigate my branding. Otherwise,
That's
I'm
right.
sorry, baby. I'm gonna support you and love you from afar.
Right. Just don't be like, yo, I want to get on your show because I got a book to promote. Nah. We're maybe. I mean, it depends, but like,
Depends on
depends what you're bringing.
Is.
Yeah, what are you bringing to the table other than the book? You know, right?
If I'm getting a free book, because
right, signed, by the way.
I love free merchandise and shit. So and I do amazing unboxing videos. So if you ever want to send me that shit for me to do unboxing video for you, you know.
Right. Or, you know, listen, sponsorships, man. Sponsorships.
Always welcome.
Always. Well, Paul, this has been awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Wait 1 minute.
Okay. All right. Before I do a whole
your closing, I have one question for you.
Yes.
So out of curiosity, because we started with how my growth is from 2020 to now, and you actually listened to my first episode. When I hear anybody has listened, I eat. But anytime I get Buzzsprout numbers and I see people are still listening to it, I get happy inside. Like people actually go back and so. What did you think? I know it was still new, and I'm not gonna take anything personally, but this is how we grow, right?
Right.
And also hearing, because you have had that, and now you have seen my new shit. So
right. Well, okay. So here's what I think, and I actually
give me your honest observation.
I'm gonna give you my out because I like the early episodes because I love how it just literally it sounds like you just hit record and go, and I love that. I freaking love that because I'm like literally like, boom, record, stream of consciousness shows out, and I'm like, this is amazing. Like this is literally just like. Lightning in a bottle, and I love that kind of stuff, man. I love it, but I will say, but I love the growth now because you can see now as you have guests on, like the conversations you get in, and it sounds a little less now like it's just a stream of consciousness. But I like more of the conversations you're having with people, especially in your later episodes, because the conversations are good, they're deep, and they go to places. And I think you have a very good way of getting people to open up and talk, especially about serious issues that. You know, quite frankly, some people, and I get it, you know, some people are a little reserved, some people are embarrassed, some people don't want to shit, some people get really up. I understand it. It's personal stuff. But I think you've got a really good way with getting people to open up and kind of share and trust you in that way. And I think it makes for great content. And quite frankly, you know, other people need to hear that so they feel like they're not alone in their struggle that they're going through. So kudos to you on doing that because it's not easy to do that. So, and I think you present it in a, and this isn't just kissing your ass. I mean, honestly, I think you present it in a really honest and authentic way that, you know, most people, you know, need to hear. And quite frankly, they absolutely need to hear it. So, you know, that's my honest assessment as opposed to you like, you know, hitting record and some Cardi B shit going on.
Thank you so
much. But that stuff was fun though, too. So I'm not cutting on any of that. I thought it was hilarious.
I swear, I think the last time I did that was like my first season where I also went skydiving on my birthday, and I came back. I was still high in the adrenaline, and I was drinking, and I recorded it with my voice all gone, and I said, I'm not editing, I'm not listening it, and just putting it out. Right. Those were good times. I kind of miss those just going rogue on shit. But I also like how you say, because a lot of people do, one of the biggest thing I get when people leave my podcast is, oh my God, I can't believe I shared that on your podcast. Oh my God, I can't believe you made me talk about that. So to know that I actually do make people feel comfortable into opening up about shit that they never thought they would ever share on.
That's important.
So that makes me happy. So thank you. Now you can go ahead and close this damn shit.
All right. Well, yeah. Well, before I close, one last thing is, yo, when am I going to do some good cushion alcohol with you and we karaoke? When is that happening?
You know, we are having, because you didn't come to Podfest. I
didn't know.
I saw this. I received a text message, right? Because my phone was acting up at Podfest. So when I came back, I was trying to save everybody's number. So this lady responded to me who she was. Then later she was like, I have never been in a conference where somebody is offering me to have a gummy, a weed gummy with me. I'm sorry I didn't partake this time, but next year, please let's do it. I was literally doing this like Oprah. You get one. But
Love
you know, Empowered Podcasting meetup is happening in June, and it's my birthday weekend because my birthday is 29 June, baby.
And I'll be there. I'll be there.
So, good cushion alcohol.
Oh, here we go. Good kush, alcohol, and some karaoke.
And shout out to Morphed who decided to sponsor the Empowered Podcasting.
There you go.
In-person event.
Yes, absolutely. It's going to be good. That's going to be a good time. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, by the way, for Empowered Podcasting, as of this recording, I am.
Nice. I can't wait.
Yes, it's going to be good. It's going to be good. It's going to be a good one. Get your tickets, by the way. Get your tickets now.
And come hang out with me. I'm literally going. That's the reason I didn't apply to speak, because I was like, speaking is on Saturday, and Saturday is my birthday. I do not want to be worried about being on stage. I'm literally coming to have a fucking good time.
Good. Well, that's great. And I will have a good time with you. So we're gonna rip it up. We're gonna rip it up. Yeah, rip it up. So all right. Well, listen. This is awesome. Thank you for coming on. I'm glad we talked a ton of shit. This is great. This is perfect. I'm so glad this is my episode kicking off my brand new rebrand of the podcast, now called Creative Frequencies, formerly known as Rocket Live. This is the perfect kind of episode I want to kick this off. So thank you, Paula. No, seriously, this has been great. Thank you so much for coming on, sharing, talking about the show, where you're at, where the future is, sharing your insights and experience. Really appreciate it. I'm hoping everybody out there gets inspired, gets motivated, and please take Paula up on her invite to talk to her, because honestly, Paula's got a lot of great advice. And check out Talk Shit with P anywhere you get podcasts, and also on YouTube. And of course, you can listen to Creative Frequencies anywhere you get podcasts, and also on YouTube as well. And we will see you guys next time. Rock it. Yeah.